Hey, welcome back to another No Hype beer review. So I was lucky enough to have this PM Dawn about a week ago at a bottle share, and I had a decent pour, and it just blew my mind. If you've not had this beer is absolutely over the moon phenomenal. And so I said, hey, do you have another can? I would love to do a proper review of this. Plus, actually have a proper can of it because it blew my mind. I love stouts, and I'm a huge cold brew fan. And I actually got into it only about a year ago, maybe. And I went to Wegmans. I bought an already made cold brew. It was really expensive. It was like $10 for the bottle, and it was delicious. But I'm like, man, $10. So a friend of mine actually told me how she made it. Super simple. I take my big French press. I grind up the coffee beans like I normally do. Put them in the bottom. Fill it with water, cold water. Put in the refrigerator for 48 hours. I'm not a scientist. I don't do exactly 48 hours, but for about 48 hours, strain it out into mason jars. And then I have cold brew as good as that $10 stuff, and obviously at a fraction of the cost. So you put a delicious cold brew and a delicious stout, I'm probably going to be a big fan. This for that bottle share was to me the beer of the night. So again, I'm really excited to do this. I'm also gonna after this do a separate review of SOB, and then I'll bring this one back and do a third comparison video of the two. That one I'm also really excited about. That one I've not had though. All right, let me pour it. I'll tell you a little bit about the aromas, and then we'll get right into the flavors. Spoiler alert: it's going to be a lot of roastiness and delicious cold brew coffee. I got my North Brewery. That's actually where I was doing the bottle share. A little shout out to them. Love those guys. Going to do some more. Try to do some more local reviews for the Binghamton area as well. I am trying and thinking about it. Trying to do national stuff. Hype stuff, local stuff. Maybe eventually try to like go to some places and do reviews from the breweries. So hopefully big stuff coming. Just trying to get out there, right? Now let's see what I get in the smell. Yeah, first thing is straight cold brew. This reminds me of when I would go and to filter out the French press into the mason jars. It is exactly that smell. It's actually hard for me to pick up anything else because probably the roastiness from the stout is going to blend with that French press anyway, or I'm sorry, that cold brew coffee anyway. It's fairly sweet. Besides the coffee, I'm really trying here because it is so much coffee. A slight vanilla, not like you put creamer in coffee, but there is a slight vanilla aroma to it as well. But yeah, I'm definitely going. This smells like straight cold brew coffee. And when we were having it at the share, that's what a lot of people said. They're like, "Yeah, this reminds me of cold brew," and that's not surprising because it's a cold brew stout. All right, cheers. Yep, as good as I remember it being. It's relatively sweet, not cloying, nothing like that. It's a relatively sweet stout, and I'm pretty lucky with my palate. I like most things. I'm not a big sour guy. Pilsners don't really do it for me, but other than that, I'm pretty easy to please. So a sweet stout, a dry stout, bourbon aged stout, especially stouts, I'm like real easy to please. Typically, like if they're super thin, I'm not a fan. Like the more like the porter range. But this is not overly sweet. It's not like that hot garbage Lizard of Cos nonsense. So it's a little sweet. You do get the bitterness of the roast and of the coffee. And if you do drink cold brew, you know it's not that bitter compared to a regular hot coffee. So I think some of that bitter coffeeness is probably coming from the roastiness of the actual stout itself. This is super smooth. It's very creamy. Let me get another sip and see if I can identify anything else. I do get a hair or a slight amount of. There's no hair in this beer, don't worry. Um, a slight amount of the vanilla that I was smelling, just a slight, which really complements the chocolate. It's like very dark chocolatey as well with that coffee, the creaminess, the sweetness of it. So I'm not surprised the sweetness with the coffee and the stout are giving me some chocolate notes, mostly dark chocolate. Like right now, and I think that's with the vanilla as well. Right now, it kind of reminds me of eating like a dark chocolate bar, and after you're done chewing, you swallow, and like the kind of that taste, very similar to the taste that's lingering from this. Um, again, this was the beer of the night for me that night, and most of the people I think on the share agreed with that. This is as good as I remember from a week ago, and I'm going to have to try to get more from Trillium because this stuff is tops. Cheers.